keep seeing all these predictions all over the place. Everybody's talking about, is it a housing crash? Is it a recession? What kind of market are we in? All I know is I have one prediction for you out here. And that prediction is...
Prediction?
Yes, prediction.
Pain.
Now, I'd like to introduce you to the guy that brought me into this business. One of the greatest business people I've ever had the pleasure to work with. His name's Mark A. Ritter. He brought me into the mortgage business over 20 years ago. He brought me into this great company, Sachs Realty. And I want you to hear from him a little bit about our history and what he's doing here in the market right now.
All right, what's going on, Dino? Thanks so much. I mean, you're a gentleman by saying all that. Again, my name is Mark A. Ritter. I'm with, of course, Sachs Realty, but also Maryland Housing Market. I've been involved in real estate for the last 30 years. The majority of my time has been on the mortgage banking side, 20 years operating a nationwide banking firm. Dino was one of my top loan officers at that time, had a title company, and I came on this side of the world as far as being a realtor probably about 8 years ago. And I've been fortunate enough to surround myself with talent such as Dino, and we've had some great success, to say the least. In regards to this market currently, there is a lot of pressures in this market, whether it's from a buying standpoint or whether it's from a selling standpoint. There's just a tremendous amount of pressure, which all goes back to affordability. And we can dive into that.
When I was thinking about things, I said, there's a good, there's a bad, and then there's a real ugly to this market right now.
True.
And when you look at the good, you think to yourself, buyers. Buyers are out there, there are opportunities for them. Rates have been dropping a little bit for them. A lot of good things are going in the buyer's direction. So I was just thinking to myself, when I'm taking people out on these appointments all the time, they're looking at new houses. Some people are sitting back saying, am I waiting for more? Am I waiting for rates to come down more? Do we think home prices are going to come down more? And there are people sitting on the sidelines, but there are also great things for them to be able to take advantage of as far as buying homes. So are you seeing the same thing that I'm seeing out there with buyers? People sitting on the sidelines, people just checking things out, waiting a little bit. What are you seeing?
So let me say this. One thing about this market, and you're on the front lines every day, I'm on the front lines every day. I call it hand-to-hand combat with this market. This market, where there's volatility, there is opportunity. And I can be that chameleon on the buy side, sell side. Let's talk about the buyers first. There is, the buyers have been on the sidelines per se over the last 12 to 16 months. There's activity out there. There are buyers out there. But yeah, they definitely have stepped back somewhat regarding this market. Because again, it all goes hand in hand with affordability. When you have increasing values from 2022 to 2023 in the Baltimore area go up 5% from a $387 average home price to a $412,000 home price average in Baltimore. That's a 5% plus increase in home values, and that's because of lack of inventory. So this market right now, lack of inventory, rates have come down somewhat over the last 30 days, and I suspect going into this presidential race, you're going to see them drop further. But when you have these low inventories and you got excessive high prices due to supply and demand, basic economics, these buyers have definitely paused. But again, there are buyers out there realizing that, there's less competition in the market right now. So I'm going to go out there. If this tide is changing, and it is, for the buyers, if the tide is changing where it's more in my favor, where I can potentially align myself with the right lender, align myself with the right realtor, to where I can negotiate potentially that sales price or negotiate seller contribution. And when you hear those two words, seller contribution, that means help towards your closing costs. That is the magic of this market. Again, volatility is opportunity. And we're seeing that. I'm seeing that, for example, where we just negotiated a contract down in Baltimore. And Baltimore, check this out, people. Baltimore, 65% of the listings in Baltimore have been on the market greater than 30 days. And that's bang. Bang for your buck, that's negotiation. So we negotiated this contract, listed at $569, dropped it to $530, and we went in at $510, boom. That's what we're talking about.
And you got it just like that. And that was a property that had been sitting on the market for over 30 days.
Absolutely.
There's so many of these situations going on where I'm showing people, listen, these prices have been decreasing and they're not seeing it in the numbers in the market yet because these are the houses that are to be sold. They're the ones that are on the market to be sold right now, and you keep seeing price decreases. So I wanted to ask you, you are very good with sellers. You have a lot of listings, okay? And I wanted to talk to you about what I consider to be the bad in the market. And what the bad is delusion with the sellers and their pricing. Because they think they're in a market that we were in 6 to 9 months ago, where they're gonna have the same competition, 8, 9, 12 offers on a house, and it's just not that anymore. What are you seeing in regards to the pricing that your clients are willing to go with on their homes?
Let me say this. I deal with sellers from Howard County, the greater Baltimore area, Howard, Frederick, Baltimore County, Anne Arundel County, and I'm not trying to sound like a tool or come off that way. I'm just giving you some reference that depending on, we always say that the real estate market can be nationwide. It's not. Can it be regional? To some degree, but it really can come down to almost zip codes, to where, or even that slither of areas, Severn, specific areas, even specific neighborhoods, depending on as far as the realities of the market. Now, sellers, I think, are delusional. I think there's a lot of delusion in this market, from the buyers to the sellers to our colleagues. I think there's a lot of delusion. So with that, with sellers, I'm not going to paint that broad brush and say that sellers are out of their mind or delusional, but there's many out there that still believe that you can take anything, put it up on the market, and it's going to sell. A lot of my sellers, some, not a lot, but there's some sellers that still believe, we always go in with that appraiser's opinion before we list the property, and we'll give them that range. And a lot of them will opt to go to the hilt, thinking that they can grab that market, grab as much equity as possible, and secure that money for themselves as far as that net. The reality is, in this market where I'm coaching and guiding, my sellers make the ultimate decision, but the sellers got to realize, maybe take a reverse course of action. Maybe you bring that sales price down. Maybe you don't go list all the way at the top of the market, to where you bring it down to attract the market. Because if the market's predicated on affordability right now, the buyers got to feel it. They got to believe they're getting a value.
They need to feel that value.
They need to feel that they're getting the most bang for their buck. So sellers, they can make that dynamite, that fair, that strong, good profit, but it's not that same market. And a lot of sellers are, just because they're being guided by some of our colleagues. Look, we have some real good colleagues out there, but they're also being guided by part-timers or by individuals that just aren't into the reality of data mining and seeing how long these houses are on the market. So it's kind of like the chicken and the egg. What goes first? What goes first is real data information from us, providing that to them, where it's real numbers. Numbers don't lie.
Well, that's why I love the way that you do it. I mean, you've trained me up to go through and do it exactly the same way that you do it. And you look at these valuations of the property ahead of time. You go in and you explain to the clients, hey, here's where we can list it. Here's the range. Where do you want to go? And sometimes when they go off of that top and come down a little bit, they get some competition. And that competition is huge.
Absolutely. Let me interject here. We just held an open house on Saturday in Severn. We had 20 to 30 couples come through. Beautiful house. It's very nice. We had a range of 550 to 570, or 570, 550 to 570. That was the range from the appraiser's opinion. We listed at 549, 927, my number. And believe me, at first, I had a lot of pushback from my seller. They wanted to go to that 574, 569. And, I let them, this is their investment. It's their decision. Gave them the data, gave them the information. They opted to go 549, 927. That was the list price. And lo and behold, we attracted 9 offers, and they just ratified, accepted contract yesterday for 585, 376.
See?
Guaranteed.
That's what I was just saying.
That's the kind of approach to the market for sellers that, look, take a reverse strategy. Develop the market, because they're out there. Buyers are out there. They're in this market. There's opportunity.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what I was saying, because I've seen some of these multiple offer situations happen when the price is right. But then you have people that come out, their price isn't right, and they don't see offers for 45 days. That is what it is. And like I said, that was what's bad. The sellers out here, they have a different situation than they have in the past. But what I wanted to go through now was the ugly.
Okay.
And the ugly is a little more basic. The ugly's going on everywhere. You talk about housing affordability. Yeah, housing affordability is a problem. So is everyday affordability. You have people going to the grocery store and the gas pump that are losing their mind at the cost of goods. And here's the stat that drives me crazy. Where is credit card debt? Where is credit card debt in the United States right now? I believe at the end of the year, it was $1.1 trillion. It's even over that right now. It's absurd. We don't even see an end in sight. Now, you ask yourself, okay, look at the metrics. Inflation, this past report, it's coming down a little bit. It's probably going to lead the Federal Reserve to lower rates in September, not this next meeting. They might lower things by 1/4 of a point. But if they do that, do you think it's just going to cause buyers to just flood back into the market and change the market? It's going to take a series of these things. And that's why we're looking at short-term economic pain, because people are spending money on their credit cards, people are overextending themselves on their mortgages, and people are even taking out second mortgages on their homes based on new valuations. I see a lot of upcoming pain, and I have to be honest about it. I'm not trying to talk gloom and doom, but these situations are out there. People are having problems paying their bills, and that affects home buying. What do you see out there as far as the pain?
Well, look, my wife just had a birthday, and I was at the grocery store, I guess 2 weeks ago, and bought a Hallmark birthday card, and it cost me $8. And it's not the Hallmark card with all the bells and whistles. I mean, I don't go all that. It's just a basic, I love you, happy birthday. But that's a kind of, it's from top to bottom. Look, I've been high and I've been low, but there's a lot of pressures out there from, whether it's just going out to a meal. And I'll be honest with you, and I'm not all that. It's made me pause as far as eating out. When I've gone to a local restaurant, I've gotten the Greek salad with the grilled chicken, and it's $17, and it's less lettuce and less chicken, and it's not that good. It makes you really pause. So these affordability issues are real. As far as the credit card debt, look, been there, done that, and throughout my life, I think we've all experienced that one time or another. And you'll see solutions. People are, because there's a tremendous amount of equity out there in this market. So you'll see people take lines of credit. You're also going to see some new products hit the market on the mortgage banking side, where people can take out second mortgage and wrap and roll benefit savings solutions on that debt. You're going to see that over the next 6 to 12 months. Then you're even going to see in the mortgage arena some people, maybe give up. Look, how about this number? 74 to 80% of the rates out there are 5% and below. And 28% of the mortgage rates out there for homeowners are 3% or below. So with that, you will see these pressures increase on the American consumer, and you will see a consumer give up that 5% or even that 3%, wrap and roll that debt to save money and to catch their breath. And this is not judgment zone. I get that. I understand that. But these affordability issues are real.
They're real, and we're seeing them every single day.
Yeah.
Honestly, I feel like what you're saying is so valid. You have people out there right now who have optimism in the market. They see that they have a little bit of equity. They might be able to wrap up some of their debt, lower their payments and things like that. But ultimately, my biggest fear about that is if people go and wrap up their debt and their mortgages, what happens if we have a home value problem where people find themselves under, owing more than what their house is worth? Because back in 2008, when the global financial crisis happened, that happened to me. I owed about $350,000 on my mortgage, and it dropped down to $280,000. And I was like, what am I going to do? Do you think that values will sustain themselves eventually? I mean, it's a market always comes back, but what do you think about that?
Look, I don't have, there's no crystal ball. So,
I wish we had one.
I will always take the approach, we're brought up now, as far as really being exposed to a lot of great information through Sachs Realty and Todd Sachs, the channel that he has out there on YouTube, one of the largest influencers in real estate on YouTube. It's amazing. I decfinitely follow that tact as far as his approach to the market, where it's heading. What you're seeing now, you are definitely seeing, obviously we talked about the severing decline, but we're also seeing other areas where these prices are decreasing. Baltimore City, take another example. I can take it, the greater Baltimore area, the Frederick, Baltimore County, Anne Arundel County, PG County, Howard County, Hartford County. You go through all those counties and you're gonna see that the average is 38% of the homes currently listed have undergone a price decrease. So going back to the sellers, there's reality setting in. They're scared, they're nervous, they have anxiety. Then you're also seeing these houses maybe not accelerate as fast as they did. We still have supply-demand issues. Yes, inventories are increasing on the home side, but they're at rock bottom. Right now, we're sitting at 1.8 months of supply, which is nothing. So you're still gonna have that high demand. You're still gonna see prices increase on homes to some degree over this next 12 to 18 months, I believe, the next 24 months, because it's a tanker. This is a tanker on the water, and it takes a while for it to turn. There's real issues in this market. My thought is, you get it now. There's opportunity now. These rates are coming down. You're going to see them come down, further. Will they ever go back to 3%? No, I don't believe that. My dad never saw a 6%. So, with that being said, 6.5, 6 and 7/8. Will you see them go down to 5.99? Yeah, it's real. That's possible. But I wouldn't hold back if there's an opportunity.
Well, I just wanted to say, 20 years in business with you, okay, we've seen rates go up and down and up and down. When I started with you, you got in before me. Rates were 7.99 pretty much across the board. And that's what I remember when we started. And then I saw dips, and then I saw them shoot up. And then we saw that 3% stuff. And now we have where we're at today, which is great. You can't predict the market. Nobody can predict the market. Everybody has this. Market's gonna crash. It's gonna be a recession. It's gonna be a problem. We just have to worry about tomorrow. And a lot of people that wanna go and buy a house, you wanna buy a house for multiple reasons, not just what's going on in the news, what inflation looks like, these little factors that matter. You buying your home is about you buying your home. Is it a good time? Can you negotiate the best deal right now? Are you working with guys like Mark and myself that are gonna put you first? That's what it's all about. Mark, I wanted to thank you very much.
Pleasure.
Thank you so much for taking the time.
Let me say this. Yeah, let me say this. This gentleman I've known for well over 20 years, and he's a gentleman of faith. He's a gentleman of integrity. He's a gentleman that studies this business. He knows this business. He's homegrown here in the greater Baltimore area, and he's got a lot of heart. So, what he's putting out and what he's getting started with his YouTube channel and getting the message out there about the truth is not common as far as in our industry, and it's the truth. A lot of our colleagues don't step out, they don't get into the data, they don't dive into doing what's right out there. And one thing for certain, you decide that you want Dino representing you on the buy side, list side, or just have questions, you're gonna get the truth. Because we're not going to tolerate that, but it's also the fabric of who he is. He's going to tell you the truth. He's going to give you the answer, not the answer you want to hear. He's going to give you the good, the bad, and the ugly. He's going to be direct with you. He's going to give you the truth, and he's going to be a guiding light for you. And what's awesome, I can't wait to see the next chapter for you.
I appreciate you so much for saying that. 100%. The reason that I came here to Sachs Realty was yourself, and then we got Todd Sachs, and you two have incredible YouTube pages. I didn't even really know the value of putting this stuff out on YouTube the way you guys do. Changed my entire mind about how to do it. I saw it. People need the information, and honestly, people aren't getting the honest information. Everybody wants to go and sugarcoat the market. Not you guys. You guys are telling people the truth. And the truth is the only thing that matters here. If you're gonna do things the right way, level with your people. That's what we're here to do. I'm gonna come back to you weekly, let you know what's going on. Please check out Mark Ritter in the Maryland housing market page. He is the best. His videos are fantastic. It's been great talking to you. Please take a second to subscribe, like the video, drop a comment, subscribe to Mark Ritter, subscribe to me. Thanks for taking the time. We'll talk to you the next time.